that 1 million Americans died from COVID?
I don't know how many died.
You're the Secretary of Health and Human Services. You don't have any idea how many Americans died from COVID?
I don't think anybody knows that because there was so much data chaos coming out of the CDC, and there were so many perverse incentives. And these are modeled
You don't know the
studies.
answer of how many Americans died from COVID. This is the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Do you think the vaccine did anything to prevent additional deaths?
Again, I would like to see the data and talk about the data.
You have had this job for 8 months, and you don't know the data about whether the vaccine saved
and
lives?
that's the problem, is that they didn't have the data. The data by the Biden administration absolutely dismal.
The Secretary of Health and Human Services doesn't know matter how many Americans died from COVID. Doesn't know if the vaccine helped prevent any deaths. And you are sitting as Secretary of Health and Human Services? How can you be that ignorant?
All right, let me speak for Mr. RFK. He don't know. He told the truth. Why? Because people are still dying today of COVID. So the stats, what stats? They refused to do their job before they got in. COVID hit before Bobby was in there. You know, he's telling the truth. There was no stats to look at. And I don't know if you could get accurate count because to this day they're still dealing with it. So I think he told the truth. They didn't have the data, right? It hit when Biden was in there. That was Biden's job. I mean, we're not trying to put blame off on people, but I mean, if you're going to attack them like that, right? Claim he's corrupt. How can he be corrupt? He wasn't in charge of nothing. Well, he might have had his hands a little bit dirty, but there's no way he's as corrupt as these people are saying. You know, like I said, there was no data to let us actually know how many people were dying of that. And to this day, we don't, because there's still people going. So you really won't know if, an accurate count until they get it under control and a proper data bank to find out. There is no thing for it. So I believe him with that. Now, him, the cause of all that, no, I don't think so. You know, that's just my opinion. Do you folks that are questioning Mr. Kennedy, do you folks know how many people died? Why would you question? If you knew, why didn't you tell us the stats right there? If he didn't know and you knew, why didn't you tell us the data, if you had it, of how many have passed from it? So there you go. You know, I'm not going to put all the blame on Robert Kennedy, right? Because we can all see what's going on here now. No, he's the potsy, right? When he wasn't even a high-ranking official at all in any of this stuff, you know. And then they drop him in there, and now you're asking about stats that he requested from the Biden commission or whatever, and there was nothing. He never received anything. So how can he tell? The only way he can tell is he would have to open his own data, his own group of people, to go out and get all the stats and data and records of how many people had it. And the same thing with the vaccination. It's a new vaccination. It wasn't even tested long enough. And I do believe he said something about that it wasn't tested long enough. I'm not going to put the blame on them. They're looking for someone to blame. Let's see. Hey, yo, Kel. Hey, you are awesome, little Rachel, you. Or Rascal, you. They said people who had other illnesses died of the, but yeah. We had nurses telling those hospital stories, yeah. That was the test. Yeah, they didn't even have a test for it. How can you go in there? You know, you've been to HHS thing for 8 months, and you don't know how many people died. They're still dying today. That's what I would have told them. And I would have came clean. and said, hey, Biden never didn't have anything on this when Biden was in there. Why didn't they have stats on it? Why didn't they have data on it? You know, they're placed in there. See, this goes to show if they don't like you or the other team that's in there is pissed off and they leave, well, they make sure it's just a mess before they leave. And if there was data, well, who knows where it's at? And what do you do? Well, the only thing you could do is start over and start your own data bank and find out actually how many did succumb of it and how many did survive that did get a vaccination and how many died that didn't get a vaccination or. But you can't put all the blame on him. And do I think he's as corrupt as all these people are saying? No, because he just didn't have the power. He wasn't sitting in power to be corrupt. Maybe a little bit, but not as much as these people are trying to claim. Then the people know the truth. Right, here you go. You drop Bobby in there, and all of a sudden it's his fault. And he never said vaccines weren't good. He said tested or untested vaccines are not good. And that's true. You know how long they tested polio and all this stuff that we got when we went to school? All the vaccinations. They tested it 20 years before they gave it to us. That's what Bobby Kennedy is saying. Tested vaccines are good, that are proven to be tested and work. When you come up with something because there is no vaccine for it and you just don't know because it's new, you don't have you got you don't know if it's going to work because it's new. What do I got to do? I'm coming down this Senate. Someone get me a suit. Cal, Miss Debbie Fox, get me my suit and my pterodactyl. I'm driving it or T-Rex. I'm riding a T-Rex into Washington. It's safe now. The only place that's safe now. Washington. Johnny, you and I are on the generation that our vaccines were mercury bees. I I don't know. Or mercury based. I don't know. Heck. I grew up in an age where we ate lead paint chips. So the vaccine probably was just baby crap when it entered our bodies. Even the vaccine was like, these people eat lead paint as kids. That's all we had, flies and lead paint to just survive. And we did. And now we're nuclear. People are like, why do you glow at night? Probably the lead paint we ate, paint chips when we were kids. That's how poor we were. So, yeah, it explains everything. And garden hoses. Oh, yeah, drinking out of a cold garden hose. Oh, my God. That was the day. That was the day, right? 70s, 80s, late 60s. That was the days where you could drink out of a garden hose and not have 5 testicles now. No, I wouldn't try it. It's just too dangerous. You don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know. And now they're saying that that skin bacteria eating flesh is in the water. Well, that's one thing you don't want to get into the public water, the drinking water, or anything like that. You better start working on a vaccine for that skin bacteria eating flesh, brain flesh. America better get on the ball. It ain't about power, death, money, and who's got the bigger machines. It should be about who outlives all of us, uh, or life, family, morals, integrity, and that's what Trump's trying to do. That's what he ran on. Um, he knows. Everyone knows. We're not dumb anymore. Well, we are dumb. I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. It don't take a rocket scientist to tell me it's corrupt, it's evil, whatever. It's always been. We just been, holding the curtains back, the old meat flaps, and thank God. At least we know. Can America be saved? Yes. But there's certain things we'll have to do and compromise. And one of them is making it safe so our people can sleep at night, so they can get up and go to work. Another thing is so they can go to work and not be killed, shot, have people shooting in their stores. Another thing is we're lacking in technology and lack of intelligence, and that's because our children can't go to school and learn properly. They're learning a bunch of crap that they shouldn't be learning, and the schools are just as dangerous when you got people running around shooting everything. The food. Well, you best bring in food inspectors because, for all we know, President Trump government is big business has been killing us through the food and water. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know. They're like, I don't care. Bring everybody in. Right? We're just dispensable. Well, not no more. And for those states that are threatening the United States military to, if they threaten to come in and clean up the city, we're going to clean in your city and we'll be out of here. Let us do our job and we'll be out of here. And these people are complaining. They're complaining. And then we say, okay. And then a massive shooting happens or something out there. And then they're on the news. This is unbelievable. It's uncalled for. Well, why didn't you let the military come in? Why didn't you let them come in and clean the crap up and we get back to business and making money and back to slavery? Because that's what we are no matter what. No matter how you look at it, we're just cattle. But if you want something done, you have to make sure your people are safe, healthy, and get paid well. If you're going to use the working force, the working man that built this country from the ground up, you're going to have safety. They're going to have to be treated good. And the citizens are going to have to be treated good. You get citizens behind you, and there ain't nothing that can stop you. If you got God, the citizens of America behind you, there's nothing we can't do. There ain't nothing we can't do. But we live in a world now where these people don't want to work and make an honest living or hard labor. Now, of course, I can create machines to build buildings and pave roads, unmanned, robots and everything. But then we're going to have a gathering of people. Work is the only way out. Old fashioned hard labor work. Some of us just can't do it no more, or we'd be out there still working. Some of our brains ain't worth a crap because it's been poisoned by whoever knows what they've been experimenting on. Most of my town is straight up run by Mexican cartels. Oh my God. That's crazy. Get out of there. Where's Miss Debbie? Oh, she's probably busy. She's always doing something, watering plants, uh, cutting the yard or something, laundry. No, she's always doing something, trying to slay my cactus. But I don't think there's any woman here that can slay my cactus, so I'm not worried about it. They want to take a ride on Bodacious, but that costs money these days. Bodacious ain't even free for a free ride. I just had some dentist work done. I'm a miserable sob. You won't be because I know you're going to spike one of them magical mystery tour cannabis sticks up, and you'll be in La La Land before you know it, munching down on anything you can get your hands on back here tonight, acting silly and goofy like you always do. And that's just what you do. But I applaud the government. We've had enough. We're tired of being poor. All this time, 50 years, don't do that, Johnny. It's bad. You don't want to be like them people. Don't do that. It's crazy. You don't want to do that. They're crazy people, bad. They're rich. Don't worry. It's just crazy. You don't want to do that. Here I've been sitting, law abiding citizen, locked away. afraid to go out into the world because people they just can't stand me, or they're jealous or mad. And I'm like, I'm poor. Why you got to be jealous? I'm an idiot. Look at me. Man, it's just crazy. I can't even. It's just crazy. Let me see what Kelt's saying. Gummy, good idea. Thanks. Hello to the folks not chatting. Yeah, don't be afraid of Kelt. Uh, she don't bite too much, so don't be afraid of her. It's that little Debbie Fox you got to be afraid of. She's on the ornery as a rattlesnake, especially when she don't get her sweets. But you didn't hear that from me. You didn't hear that from me here. So yeah, be afraid. Be very afraid. Yeah, but don't be. No, they don't. You don't want people to be afraid of you, Kel. You're in love with Miss Debbie. Well, why didn't you guys tell me you guys were in love? I didn't want to step on your toes with Miss Debbie. I had no idea. You know, if you guys were so in love, you should have just told me. You should have told me. It's no biggie. No, I'll step aside and you can love her. You can love her. I've been loving her for a long time on this channel. We did. You did. You guys did. Oh my God, that's great. That is great. It's just so great that they did. I'm applauding you guys right now. We invited you to the camp out, silly man. What camp out? No one invited me to no camp out. For one, I don't do mosquitoes. I don't do mosquitoes. And right now in this country, mosquitoes will kill you. They'll eat you to a bone. I've seen it. And last time I was out camping, I stumbled upon something. It was just a stub, bunch of mosquitoes. What is it? It looks like a human stub. Let's get out of here. And we left. We packed up and left. It was just too many bugs. Too many bugs. Even them stink bugs now will kill you. I just posted something to Debbie about it. I'm like, check it out. These things will kill you now. Well, they've mutated. They've all mutated. Yeah, kissing bugs, Kel. Yeah, they'll kill you. Yeah, I seen a photo of a guy that got bit by one, and half his face was just all gone. I'm like, oh my God, they don't care. I'm like, you guys are fighting about crap, and we got serious problem. We got radioactive bees, ants, crazy kiss bugs, mad cow, and I'm not talking about Jonathan Mad Cow, the Chicago radio broadcaster. I'm talking about Mad Cow from cows. You name it, it's here in America. Why? Well, because it's from other countries. That's why. Because the other countries were going crazy, and they were like, "Why not bring it to America and we'll share this craziness?" And you know how we roll in America, you know. No, all right, but we have no idea what it is. They're like, "Try this. This is crazy stuff." Next thing you know, you're crazy. Tomato brains is what I call them. Tomato brains. Knew a guy bit by a black widow on his cheek. He lost a chunk of his skin from necrosis. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got bit by a black widow once. Ate a hole in my leg, probably the size of my pinky. I stick my pinky in it. Yeah. My legs started turning black on my calf. That was when I was out west. I was out there building houses and stuff. And no one told me about these spiders and stuff they got out there. About killed me. Hold on, man. I got a message from one of my reporters. Why How are you gonna tell me, baby? Well, Kelt, I'm really happy for you and Debbie. Why didn't you guys tell me about your love affair? You know, I'm always the last to know about everything. Always. I'm always the last to know about everything. How long has this affair been going on, Kel? Were you or where were you living out west? Oh, I was everywhere. I was everywhere, but nowhere at the same time. I stopped in Vegas. I made a tour out there and building houses, all kinds of stuff. No, after you rabbit. What? No affair, you rabbit. No, I was just wondering. You said you were in love with her. I had no idea. What kind of animals did you post in my chat? They look like black demonic mosquitoes or something. They are spiders or something. They're spider monkeys, ain't they? Yeah. She's my buddy. Oh, you guys are buddies in Vegas. I did environment consulting in Vegas. Yeah, I know. That's where I met you. That was me in the front row. Yeah, I was hanging out. I noticed you, but I didn't want to say anything. You were walking around all snobby and everything. And I didn't want to interrupt anything, so I was just like, gave you a nod, went and sat back down and everything. I think you were wearing that black dress. I do believe it was like a mini skirt. Uh, that just, it was a mini skirt. It just came down to your belly button, high heels and nylons on. I think, I was like, hey, what's up? What's going on? You didn't even notice me. You were too good back then. Back in my stripper days. No, you were a consultant, I thought, for Vegas. Oh, that's code for stripper. I had no idea. I don't know these things. They keep me locked away. They keep me locked away here. I had no idea what your ladies' codes are. Cold quarters. Them were tips with cold. That was me. Yeah, well, I didn't have enough change, so all I did, I had a couple. I had to do laundry, so I had a bunch of quarters, and that was the only thing that I had. So I gave them to you like a slot machine. A good guy was pulling all kinds of your levers. I think I blew about $100 in quarters. I didn't even have money left over to go ahead and do my laundry and everything. I walked around for 3 days with the same stuff as on there. But I'll tell you what, I hit every kind of slot there was on that woman. But that was just one of my crazy Vegas nights. And you shouldn't even mention that, Kelp, because everyone knows what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. No, no, no. I hired to process and release areas they wanted to build on. It was bullcrap. All they did was pay us to sign off. A government loophole before developers could build. Oh, so they needed you to get these people, these guys, to sign off on it. So that's why you had that dress on that only came to your belly button, and then nylons and high heels, of course. And they did sign, didn't they? Didn't they, Domino? That's right. Kiss sang a song about her. She bends over, they all fall. And that's what they did. They brought in the legs and the dress, the short skirt, nylons, and they all signed real fast, real fast. And that's how you get anything done around here. She processed the land before they released the area. No, I did grid searches for tortoise. There is a endangered tortoise in Vegas area. Oh, so they wanted to build on the land, but there was endangered species on the land. tortoises that are endangered. Them are turtles. For you people that don't know and didn't take history in school, them are turtles. Tortoises are turtles. And they wanted to spend quadrillions of dollars to build there, but they couldn't because there was endangered tortoises on the property. Um, so they needed to sign off on this property. But the developers would hire us to search in the winter. So you couldn't find the tortoises anyway. So the builders build right over the poor things. Oh my God. Did they build on that site that I told them not to build, that nuclear waste dump? They built right over the tortoises, and that makes sense why we're having a bunch of rumbling going on out there in Vegas. They mutated, and they were buried underground, and everyone knows a tortoise will bury down, and it'll lay eggs, probably 24 to 34 eggs, and it's probably covered with tortoises, angry, nuclear, biological tortoises, probably underneath Vegas. You didn't hear that from me here, folks. You didn't hear none of this. And that child is how the ninja tortoises of Las Vegas originated. Exactly. And we knew this would happen in Vegas. We knew it. They wanted to do it here. And I proposed, I said, no, no. There's certain things you could do that are crazy in this world, but you ain't going to do it in this state. You go out there to Vegas, a freak nation. And that's where they went. And they probably got dangerous killer tortoises underneath there digging holes. Probably that's what all them tremors are out there. Some say they're anywhere between 10 to 20 feet around. And they're huge. Almost like Gamera, that giant turtle from Japan. And what did he do? He spit fire out of his mouth and out of all of his orifices, and he flew. And that's exactly what they got him so popped up on nuclear waste out there and rocket fuel. These turtles are probably going to break through the ground and take flight. Did he fart fire? He did. Yeah. Gamera? Yeah. Yeah. Watch the old movies. He tucked his head in and then shot fire out of every orifice of his body. He spun around in circles. If you had one wish you'd like to fart fire. Well, if you want to be a star, light it on fire when you do. You're just full of methane gas. It'll light right on. What people were asking me, what do you think of this spontaneous combustion? It's methane gas inside the body. After the body hits a certain temperature, the methane gas explodes or ignites, and it eats you from inside. It burns you from inside. They don't understand science, these people. I got to do that. I'm an idiot. I'm literally crazy. Crazy. But I know how you spontaneous combust. They didn't believe me. Methane gas, exactly, methane gas is inside your body. You relieve yourself of it when it builds up inside you. If you don't relieve yourself of it, it builds up inside of you. And then your body hits a certain temperature. Next thing you know, kaboom. But usually it just burns right from the inside. Thus far called spontaneous combustion. Now, I don't have to do it anymore here because a lot of people think I'm crazier than Einstein. And I'll agree with you all. Yes, I am. But even Einstein was a genius. So. I wish I could fly, but I don't have gas tonight. I wish I could take flight with my own gas, a butane, a methane. Yeah, I wish I take flight. Now, I want to thank all you folks for showing up here in Great Day. Mr. President Trump, government, Congress, Senate, if you're going to clean this world up, do it right. If you got to bring boots on the ground, that's fine. If you got to use my UFOs, that's fine. Matter of fact, keep building them. By the end of this month, we might have 1 million of them. Let's get this world back to safety and not about who you know, how much money you got, or what gang you belong to, or MC club, or what rock band or music band or football team you belong to, is whether you live or die or have any kind of morals or integrity in this country. I will not stand for it. We are all equal, and we all should get equal pay and all be able to live equal on this earth. We will make friends with all countries, and we will conquer this thing that's called the devil. I'll beat it, Satan. I ain't got time. No, I want the rest of you folks to have a great day. Kelt, Miss Kelt, thank you. Mr. Kelt, Miss Kelt, the whole Kelt family. God bless you. God bless our mod, Miss Debbie Fox. She's probably out in the field right now getting intel for us for tonight. I hope the streets don't suck her up. I hope the streets don't suck her up, because I've seen a lot of people go to the streets for intel and never come back. We hope she's okay. Catch you later, ma'am, you, sir, and everyone else, and ma'am, sir, and mamma glands, and all you great people out there. You're all great women. You're all great men and women. We're all great men and women. Don't let anyone tell you any different. Some of you, I wish I can love, but you're too young. You folks have a great day. God bless you all. All glory goes to God.